The porthouse is not only an office space, but also a center of publicity and acts as a landmark representing the region. Last week, we told you about the overall brief information about the porthouse. And this time, we will go back to the beginning and tell you from the start of the Antwerp porthouse. So first of all, we would like to explain how and why this structure were created, because it is the first thing you should keep in mind when you decide to design a structure. That how and why of the Antwerp porthouse was by Vlaams Bushmeester's competition. Vlaams Bushmeester promoted many architectural development policies by holding an open call contest which held twice a year. In 2008, there was a shortage of spaces in Antwerp's Port Authority. To solve the problem, an open call contest was held to transform an old, disused fire station into a new office at the same year. Since the 16th century building has a long historical value, it was impossible to demolish the fire station and build a new one. As a result, the only one rule was that existing building should be preserved. A total of 100 teams participated in this contest, and 5 teams were finally selected. All teams took the approach of extending the new building on top of the existing building to preserve it, like making a new tower or building a structure that is similar to the fire station but reversed upside down. Among these competitors, the judges highly praised Zaha Hadid's design of the boat and diamond-shaped structure, which can be viewed from various angles. For the realization of the huge building and beautiful but complicated designs, many specialists was mobilized and large-scale construction was carried out. The project used 102 tons of steel root at the courtyard, 1,500 tons of steel superstructures which are made of fabricated steel, 450 glass panels. Port Authority Board of Directors was quite expecting this project too. The estimated all-over cost was about 30 million euros, but they approved about 50 million euros to the Antwerp porthouse. This number shows how much they thought Antwerp and its port as an important place of the city. As a result, it became Europe's second largest port, and its artistic beauty made by Zaha Hadid attracts tourists all over the world. Financial and material resources are not the only thing you should consider when you decide to build something. Next thing we investigated was environment of the site. What will you be careful when you build a building near a large river? Some of you might think of some problems caused by water, like humidity or weather. Or some may be thinking about using the river as an advantage for the construction process. We wanted to answer that question and searched for various information about the environment of Antwerp porthouse. From city locational conditions to natural environment, we can explain how those factors affect to the Antwerp porthouse. First thing is geological environment. Antwerp is situated on the right side of the south-north flowing Scheldt River, about 55 miles away from the North Sea. Because of the characteristics of rivers' differences between middle part and upper part, Antwerp's site becomes an alluvial plain. Flooding and low tide channels of middle part and narrow single tidal channel of upper parts made very vast and flat plain, but the potential threat of flooding is also relatively high. And moving on to the weather, we can tell the Antwerp's climate is sub-oceanic. It's humid and rainy, influenced by the Atlantic Ocean and Scheldt River. Winters are cold but not freezing, while summers are mild or pleasantly warm. Also, the amount of raining, which affects Antwerp's average humidity directly, is increasing over time too. Warm temperatures do not significantly affect the glass, steel, and concrete. But you should keep in mind that those three main materials have some important relationships with moisture. Concrete's pH levels are increased and compressive strengths are decreased by high relative humidity levels. Furthermore, humidity will act as an impurity to any adhesive and coating materials applied to concretes, leading it to be ineffective and vulnerable. Fungus and microbes are also problems caused by water when you use concretes. Steel and glasses are target of corrosion promoted by water. Chemical reaction when steel and glasses meet water weaken them slowly. Iron will rust in red and glasses will lose its sodium and potassium when they meet water. So it can be seen that when the port Antwerp was built, it must have been properly prepared for water. But the fact that the port house is nearby Scheldt River does not always act as a disadvantage. The Antwerp becomes the second largest port in Europe, playing a big role as a transportation hub. The waterfront location also afforded the possibility to transport much of the building material by water. These elements helped the building process to become more eco-friendly, receiving very good in the BREEAM environmental rating. These things are not would be possible without the river. So far, we have seen the beginning of the construction of the Antwerp Port House by analyzing purposes and various conditions. We hope that this presentation was a time to think about what points you should consider when designing a building. Thank you for listening.